Okay, real talk. If you've ever looked at someone your age who seems to have it completely figured out, they bought a condo at 26, they're taking international vacations, they drive a nice car, they talk about their investment portfolio, and you're sitting there thinking, what am I doing wrong? You're probably not doing anything wrong. They just have something you don't, and nobody's talking about it. Welcome to the invisible wealth gap, and I have the receipts. My name is RP, and today we're talking about the 30% of Gen Z that has a massive financial advantage that they will never post on LinkedIn. Because here's what's wild. We talk all the time about income inequality, about student debt, about the housing crisis. But there's this massive elephant in the room that nobody wants to acknowledge. Roughly 30% of Gen Z is receiving significant ongoing financial support from their families. Not inheritance when grandma dies, not a loan they'll pay back. Regular, substantial financial help that they rarely disclose. And it's completely warping our perception of what's normal or achievable in your 20s. So in this video, we're going to expose exactly how much help people are getting, why it's invisible, and what this means for you. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because we're about to make some people very uncomfortable. Let's start with the data because this is bigger than you think. According to multiple studies from 2024 to 2025, 30% of millennials and Gen Z receive regular financial assistance from family. Not one-time help, regular. The average amount? $1,000 to $1,500 per month. That's $12,000 to $18,000 per year of invisible income that doesn't show up on their tax return, their LinkedIn profile, or their day in my life TikTok. But it gets better. When it comes to major purchases, 60% of first-time homebuyers under 30 receive family help with their down payment. The average gift? $50,000 to $100,000. And here's the kicker. Bank of Mom and Dad is now effectively the 9th largest mortgage lender in the United States. Read that again. 9th largest. Now let's talk about what this actually means in practice. Person A, no family money, graduates with $30,000 student debt, pays $526 per month to loans for 10 years, can't save for down payment while paying debt, rents paying $1,500 per month, building no equity, at 30, zero net worth, still renting. Person B, family money. Parents paid for college or helped significantly, no student loan payments equals extra $526 per month, parents gift $80,000 down payment at 25, buys condo, monthly payment $1,800, building equity, at 30, $150,000 plus in home equity, no debt. Same age, same effort, $150,000 wealth gap, and person B will tell you they worked hard and saved without mentioning the $80,000 gift. So why don't we hear about this? Why does it feel like you're the only one struggling? Because people lie by omission. You see the Instagram post, just closed on my first home at 27, hard work pays off. What you don't see, the $70,000 down payment gift from parents, the co-signed mortgage, the family loan at 0% interest. And here's why this matters so much. We live in a culture that worships the idea of meritocracy, the idea that success equals hard work. So when someone succeeds, they need to believe, and they need you to believe, that it was purely their effort. Admitting they had help destroys that narrative. It means they're not a self-made success story. They're just lucky. But here's the twist. It creates shame on both sides. If you're getting help, you feel like you can't talk about it without seeming privileged or spoiled. If you're not getting help, you feel like a failure for not achieving what others achieve easily. So nobody talks about it, and the gap stays invisible. This invisible support creates a completely warped sense of what's normal in your 20s. Your coworker who makes the same $50K salary as you, but somehow lives in a nicer apartment, parents pay $500 per month toward rent, drives a newer car, parents' old car signed over, insurance covered, takes international trips, parents' credit card points, family vacation, invests $500 per month because their basics are subsidized. Meanwhile, you're barely scraping by on the same salary, and you're thinking, what am I doing wrong? Why can't I afford what they afford? You're not doing anything wrong, you're just playing a completely different game. This invisible money also allows people to make career choices you can't afford. They can take unpaid internships in expensive cities, parents cover rent, accept lower-paying passion jobs, family subsidize income, start a business with no safety net, parents are the safety net, say no to jobs they don't want, not desperate for any income. You can't because you need to eat, and then they'll write a LinkedIn post about following your passion without mentioning their $2,000 per month trust fund. But here's what really kills me about this. The invisible 30% doesn't just create a wealth gap, it creates a reality distortion field. You're looking at your peers and thinking, everyone else has it figured out except me. I must be terrible with money. Why am I so far behind? When the truth is, you're not behind. You're running a completely different race, with different starting lines, different obstacles, and they're pretending you're on the same track. Let me break down the specific types of help that stay invisible. 1. Monthly cash support, $500 to $2,000 directly deposited, presented as helping out, not as income. Bill payments, phone bill on family plan, car insurance under family policy, health insurance until 26, this one is visible, streaming services, subscriptions, major purchases, down payment gifts, car purchase or inheritance of parents' old car, furniture, moving costs, security deposits, the safety net, ability to live at home rent-free, parents as co-signers, emergency fund that's actually parents' credit card, the invisible boost, college fully paid, meaning no student loans, family connections for job opportunities, professional network through parents' contacts. Each of these individually seems small. Combined, it's the difference between wealth and struggle. Okay, so what do you actually do with this information? First, and I cannot stress this enough, stop comparing your financial progress to people who may have invisible help. You don't know who's getting help. You can't know, so comparing is literally useless. When you see someone your age thriving, add an asterisk in your mind. They bought a condo, asterisk, potentially with $80,000 family gift. They travel constantly, asterisk, possibly on parents' credit card points. They have $30,000 saved, asterisk, maybe receiving $1,500 support. Not to be bitter, but to stay sane. Second, reframe what success looks like for your situation. If you're paying your own rent, covering your own bills, paying down debt, saving anything, without family help, you're actually crushing it compared to what your parents had to do. Because here's the truth, achieving financial independence without family help in 2025 is exponentially harder than it was in 1980 or even 2000. You're climbing a steeper mountain with heavier weight. Give yourself credit. Third, and this is important, if you do have family who could help even a little, it's okay to ask. I know there's shame around it. I know we're taught that asking for help equals failure. But if the invisible 30% is getting help anyway, and you're competing with them for apartments, jobs, opportunities, you're just leveling a playing field that was already tilted. Obviously, this only applies if your family has resources to spare, the relationship is healthy, and there aren't strings attached that will harm you. But if those conditions are met, accepting help isn't weakness, it's strategy. Finally, talk about this. The invisibility is the problem. The shame is the weapon. If you're struggling without help, say it out loud. If you're getting help, acknowledge it. When we're all honest about our real situations, the false comparison trap loses its power. Here's what this is really about. We're living through the largest intergenerational wealth transfer in history. Baby boomers accumulated wealth during the greatest economic expansion in American history, and now they're passing it down, but not evenly, not fairly, and not transparently. The top 10% of families hold 77% of all wealth, which means 30% of Gen Z is getting significant help, while 70% are largely on their own, and this gap will only widen. We're creating a two-tier system. Tier 1, family money provides launchpad, safety net, and compound advantage. Tier 2, no family money means every setback is potentially catastrophic. This isn't sustainable. This isn't meritocracy. This is inherited advantage masquerading as achievement, and the silence around it makes it worse. Alright, let's wrap this up. If you take nothing else from this video, take this. If you're in your 20s and you feel behind, check your assumptions. Behind compared to who? Someone with invisible help? That's not a fair comparison. You're not failing, you're just seeing the tip of an iceberg and comparing it to your whole situation. 30% of Gen Z has a massive advantage they'll never post about. 70% of Gen Z is out here actually on their own. If you're in that 70%, you're not alone, you're the majority, and your progress, whatever it is, counts. If this video helped you feel less alone, hit that like button. Subscribe for more real talk about money that actually makes sense. And leave a comment. Are you part of the invisible 30%? Or are you figuring it out on your own? Let's talk about it honestly for once. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember, stop comparing, start surviving, and maybe start thriving anyway.